Hello and welcome to this episode of the How to Choose Happiness show, where we teach you how to claim your personal power to manifest the money, the success, the health, freedom, happiness that is your birthright. I'm your host, Lauren Foster, and this month we're talking about how you harness your creative power by developing and nourishing and nurturing an amazing relationship with your body. So this week we are talking, leading up to this week, earlier in the month, we've talked about stress, we've talked about set points and things like that. And this week we're talking about your relationship with food. And weight. So as we get started, share with me in the comments if you think you need to lose weight or you are unhappy with your body weight. Just give us a yes in the comments. And just as a side note, I did a quick Google search, and according to several different websites, 91% of us, 91% of women are unhappy with our bodies. So that this is a place that we don't really want to be. So I want to teach you how to really have a great relationship with your body while you are attaining the health and fitness and size and shape and image and agility that you want and deserve. So all of that is within your reach, but the first thing that we need to do is get our head straight, get our heart straight, get our soul straight. So that's what we're working on here. We're working on teaching you to be a deliberate creator of an astounding life and having a great connection and sense of power and management over your physical world is a tremendous tool for giving you the courage and the confidence and the feeling of being in charge of your life. So you can prove to yourself in this physical world that you're a manifester, that you are totally making your life the way that you want it to be. So hello Tammy, thanks for being here. Good morning, good Tuesday morning. Welcome back after the holidays. So far in our conversation about food, and we've got links where you can go back and look at the old videos and get caught up or review on things that have gone past. But so far what we've been talking about is to really remember that you are not your body. You have a body. Don't let your body define who you are. Don't let your current weight keep you from seeking out anything that it is that you want to do, whether it's starting a new business or looking for love or anything in this physical world that you're going, oh, I'm gonna do that when I lose weight. Stop that. Stop letting a number on the scale dictate what your life is going to be. You get to choose how you feel. So my other question is, last week I suggested that you start a food journal and write down what you eat, when, why, and how you feel about that. So I'm curious if anybody did that and what you might have learned from it. And I wanted to tell you just a little bit more about what the reasoning is behind keeping a food journal. And it's a way of having a conversation with your body. Just like any conversation that you have with your spouse or a new friend or anyone will help to strengthen your relationship and help you to know more about one another and to strengthen your bond, this journaling process gives your body an opportunity to give you information. So for instance, one of the things that I discovered in keeping a food journal is that sometimes I would think I was hungry, but really I just wanted a nap. So at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when it's only 2 or 3 hours after lunch, when there was no reason for me to be hungry again, I thought I was, but through journaling and figuring that out, I'm like, a 20-minute nap is what my body really wants, and I just wasn't communicating clearly. So I really encourage you to do this and figure out if you're stress eating, if you're eating to fill some void that's made by loneliness or by boredom. If there's some other reason other than wanting the nourishment and enjoying food, then what is your relationship with food? And at the same time, learning to get better at having a good, clear relationship with your body. So understanding your choices, and again remembering that you always get to make a choice and that you cannot be triggered or influenced by outside circumstances against your will. So if you're allowing something to upset you and that's driving you to the refrigerator for a pint of Ben and Jerry's, then you've allowed that. So own it and claim that and go, you know what? This now is just an excuse. So what if this person did something that I didn't like? I don't have to allow that to set up emotional responses in me, which then lead me to make physical choices that lead to consequences that are not in my best interest and not what my goals are. So own your power, make your choices, and own what your choices are, good, bad, or indifferent, in your opinion. All right, so I thought of some other kind of concepts that I wanted us to explore this week in this area, in every area. You might know that I live way out in the boonies, and my mailbox is about a quarter of a mile away. So I will usually walk down there, and I wear glasses, which they're progressive. So they're slightly for distance vision, they're slightly for mid-range vision, they're slightly for reading, and so they're a little bit weird when you're out walking. So usually I'll take them off and either leave them behind or put them in a case in my pocket should I need them while I'm out. Well, I forgot to do any of that, so I just took them off and stuck them in the pocket of my sweatshirt. Well, on the course of my walk, they fell out and they got scratched pretty badly, like very, very significant scratches. That not these are special glasses for just this, but these are my everyday glasses that I use, I wear all the time. Well, it takes a while to get them replaced, and I do need them, so I'm wearing them anyway, and you can see the scratches that are there, especially the first day. I'm like, oh, this is so annoying, but I want to be able to see clearly, so I'll just live with it. Well, by the second and third day, it was getting to be so I wasn't even really noticing them anymore. I had just managed to accept this and get used to this and go on about my business. Now, so that made me wonder, how many things in our lives have we just accepted and gotten used to, even though they're not what we want, even though they're not our ideal. And we'll see this in our relationships, a marriage that just gets to a point where it is unbearable didn't get that way overnight. It was a little scratch at a time that you looked past and you got used to, and that this is a scratch, this is a flaw, but it's all right, I'll just get used to it. And they build and they build and they build until suddenly you have a life that's made up of things that you don't like any of them. You don't choose any of them. You just got used to things instead of making a different choice. Instead of going, okay, what can I do differently? How can I look at this differently? How can I make this a manifest change in my life that does please me, that is in service of my greater goals? So don't live with things. Don't get used to things. But insist on having the life that you really, really love, that you really, really want, and get closer and closer to that every single day. All right, so other limiting beliefs. There's when we're in the month on words, we talk a lot about the either or mentality instead of the yes and the yes mentality. So do you think that you can either eat delicious food or you can have the ideal body weight? Do you believe that that's a choice that you have to make? Can you make the switch in your brain that says, you know what, I can eat delicious, wonderful, decadent food that I love and still have the health and fitness that I want? And when you first say this, if this is your belief, you're going to feel it in your brain. Your brain's going to go, no, you can't. No, that's not true. But see, these are beliefs that have been implanted in your mind your whole life. So you can't just make a decision to go, oh, well, you know what, that's not true. You have to start day by day by day teaching your brain a new way and learning new beliefs to replace those old limiting beliefs that will change the way that you live your life. So I promise you, the truth is you are meant to be joyous. You are not meant to be deprived. You weren't meant to be hungry. You weren't meant to be beating yourself up and suffering in any way. Now, a lot of people are going to go, but there has to be sacrifice. There has to be work. There has to be effort. And I'm not going to disagree with that, because that is kind of true. So Discipline. What do you think of when you hear the word discipline? I think of getting a spanking or getting grounded or getting, detention in school. Discipline to me is always brings up negative connotations, and in the military and following rules and things like that. So discipline, I have a limiting belief that discipline is not a positive type of thing. So the way that I'm working around to having a better relationship with the word discipline is through understanding what the word sacrifice means. That's another one that, has me thinking of, sacrificing babies and lambs and, not a positive word. But then I heard Mary Morrissey talk about that a sacrifice, if you think about in baseball, a sacrifice fly. So a batter hits a short run so that another runner can make a home run. So they give up a base hit in order to get a home run. So that's what we're doing when we're making choices in our lives about the things that we want to do. So if I love, say, Haagen-Dazs butter pecan ice cream, but I also want to be, a size or two smaller. Which of those do I want more? And is there a way that I can give up something lesser in order to gain something more? So does this mean, no, I can never, ever have my favorite Haagen-Dazs butter pecan ice cream again? No, it doesn't. But it does mean that I may have less. Maybe instead of eating the whole pint, I let that pint last for 4 days, and I really enjoy it mindfully. And I give up that habit of consuming the whole thing in order to progress me on the road to where I want to go, which is the size that I want to be. Now, believe me, these are relatively simple concepts, but these are not easy things to do. So do not beat up on yourself. Do not give yourself a hard time about not being able to just flip a switch and get these things to happen. Because these are things that, again, have been in your brain for forever and ever and ever. So substitute either or thinking with yes and thinking. Begin to think of discipline and doing things purposefully. Instead of feeling like you're beating yourself up and disciplining yourself, you're making discerning choices from your place of power as to the activities that you want to take your body on and engage with in this physical world. And we talked about in stress management, we talked about mindfulness. And mindfulness is so very important in everything, especially in like the foods that you eat and the physical choices that you make. So I decided that I wanted a warm cup of tea while I was getting ready for the show and doing my meditations before and refining my script and getting myself in the place where I wanted to be in order to speak with you today. And so this awesome, beautiful little cup belongs to my niece, and it wound up at my house while she was moving one time. And so I keep it here so that she can have it in case she wants to visit. And I use it when I want to feel close to her. She's one of my favorite people. So it sits up in a very special place in my cabinet, but I get it down when I want to feel connected to her. And it's cold here today, so I wanted a warm, creamy beverage, and I want to be lively, so I wanted the caffeine. So I was very mindful about everything that went into this, from the cup all the way down to the ingredients and everything about that. So being mindful, making choices, not doing things on autopilot based on old patterns that you've learned that are not in your service. So what kinds of choices are you making? What kind of deliberate activity are you engaging in that will enhance your love and respect for your body and strengthen your relationship with your body, thereby strengthening your personal power to make this life what you want it to be? All right, so we're going to talk some more about food in our Thursday episode. Again, I encourage you, keep a food journal just for a week. For 1 week, you'll get some great information and insight about how you feel about food and about the choices that you're making and why you make them. A lot of times we believe things are true just because we've heard them our whole lives. And give yourself permission to go back and go, you know what? Just because my great-grandmother believed this, does that mean that it's true? Was it ever true? Is it still true? Most importantly, is it true for me? There is no, in the billions of dollars that are spent in the weight loss industry, there is no one answer that is good for everyone. You must figure out what works for you, what makes you come alive, what makes your body feel the way that you want it to feel. And in the meantime, treat yourself with love and respect and learn to be happy where you are, because you cannot get to a joyful place from a sad place. So the best way to say that is the way Abraham-Hicks said it. There is no happy ending to an unhappy journey. So unless you want to just lose weight only to gain it back again, as I know you've done over and over again, I have too, the best thing to do is to take the time to do this work on your head first. And then when you fall into a groove of lifestyle and choices and exercise that helps you to mold your physical body into the shape that you want it to be, then you'll be able to stay there, because you are that person. You attract what you are. So you're becoming this slender, strong, agile person in your mind first, and your body is just matching up and lining up with that. So I look forward to seeing you back here at 11:30 Eastern Time on Thursday. In the meantime, remember, happiness is a choice, and you can always choose to be happy first. I'll see you Thursday.